Now in September, a Cambodian domestic worker with a valid work permit was arrested here and deported by Malaysian authorities at the request of her home government. The reason? Her social media posts had criticized Cambodian leaders. Her case is among the high-profile instances of transnational repression within Malaysia's borders in recent years. Douglas Teoh from the End Transnational Repression Alliance speaks on the implications of these cases, especially in the context of the Myanmar junta.
Deportation is one of the key tactics, right? That authoritarian governments use to facilitate transnational repression. It's one of the key aspects of this, no? And the reality is that Malaysia has engaged in a lot of deportations over the years, right? There were many news that come out. Over a period of 1.5 years, there were 12,000 Myanmaris that were deported from Malaysia, no? And these 12,000 refugees that are deported back, of course, they are in risk of being tortured, being killed in the military camps after they are returned. So effectively, we are actually fueling the conflict by deporting people to Myanmar. I think what's important to also establish here is the fact that the military junta is fighting a losing battle, right? They are losing a lot of ground over the past 4 years, and they need forced conscription to actually bolster their military ranks. And that's what they've been doing with the young people. And our deportation back to Myanmar actually helps them do this. So in effect, every deportation that we do actually helps to prolong the conflict even further. So that's probably not the best way to move forward in terms of the ASEAN peace process.
Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim himself has previously described the ongoing conflict in Myanmar as atrocious, emphasizing the need to secure peace. However, Douglas mentions the inconsistencies in this stance, pointing to Malaysia's complicit role in transnational repression.
I believe the word that Prime Minister Anwar was using is atrocious, right? The conflict. He called it atrocious. At the same time, there is the case of the advisors that he's recruited, the ex-Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Sen, who has a track record of transnational repression himself too. I think the international community will look at this and say, hey, isn't it a little bit hypocritical that we are saying one thing but we are doing another? So definitely, I think the record setting has to start at home, right? With the protection of refugees. Communities in exile are the most affected by transnational repression, right? Because of the chilling effects of transnational repression. If you silence dissent, people get scared. They don't voice out as much. They are always in fear. And at the same time, if we are complicit in deporting people back to Myanmar where they are unsafe, that's effectively collaborating on human rights violation.
Douglas outlined steps for Malaysia to uphold refugee rights, as it is the ASEAN 2025 chairman.
The first thing to do is really to cease deportations. It's really basic international law, right? That non-refoulement is a basic principle that all countries have to abide by, regardless of actually whether you are a signatory of the UNHCR Convention. Another thing is the Directive 23. Basically, the National Security Council has produced a sort of guideline to govern refugees. Until today, it's not seen. It's important because supposedly it already outlines some basic tenets of refugee protection, refugee right to work, and how we register and determine the status of refugees. So we'd love to see that too. And I think with the civil society's involvement, we can help to make that better. It's good for the Malaysian public to remember is that these asylum seekers are here not to take away our jobs. They are not here because the grass is greener, not because they want to earn money, right? But because they are running away from conflict. And given the situation in Myanmar, I think there was a statistic that says that, you know, it's the second worst conflict after Palestine currently. You know, we know that most of them will be here because of the conflict, because their lives are at risk. And we have to get this message out. They are here because they don't have a choice, you know, and as neighbors, as ASEAN is our backyard, we can help. You know, we can help protect the refugees.